All right. Good afternoon from Singapore and good morning to the Nordics. Welcome to the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022 virtual briefing hosted by Nordic Innovation House Singapore with CapitaLand and Plug Play APAC. My name is Jackie. I'm the Community Manager at Nordic Innovation House Singapore, and we are honored to be a Gold Partner for the second edition of this challenge. For today's agenda, we will have welcome addresses by both Nordic Innovation House and CapitaLand, followed by the briefing on CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge, where you will learn the main objectives, challenge statements, format and structure, timeline, judging criteria, and price details. Of course, we will also have time for Q&A, so if you have any burning questions about the challenge, please put them in the chat function in the Zoom, and we will answer them during the Q&A time. And lastly, we do have a video for you of the Fireside chat with the 2021 challenge winners of this challenge. So before we proceed with our agenda of the day, we do have a Q&A, a poll question that we like the attendees that is joining us today to participate. So you should be able to see the poll question now. The question is, what are your focus areas and areas of interest? So we give you guys about 30 seconds to answer the question. So we have in the list is low carbon transition, water conservation and resilience, waste management and the circular economy, healthy and safe buildings, or other sustainability areas such as green financing, sustainability, supply chains, etc. So can you guys see the poll question? If you do, please help to answer the question. Okay, let me relaunch the poll. Do you guys see it now? Okay, great. We see the poll actively being answered. Okay, so 3 out of 4 have answered. Give more 5 seconds. Okay, great. So everyone answered. So I'll end the poll and share the results. So like a quick look, we see that we have 2 under waste management and the circular economy, 1 under healthy and safe buildings, and 1 under other sustainability. Great. So we kind of like get a sense that you guys have a certain focus areas, and definitely this is going to be an interesting session. So next, I would like to welcome, to invite Nico Cham, our Tech Innovation Lead and Community Director at Nordic Innovation House Singapore, to do a welcome address.
Hi, good. Can everyone hear me? Hi, so I'm Nicole and I'm based here in Singapore with Nordic Innovation House. Very happy to have all of you join the briefing, especially for Nordics. Today we have quite many of the Nordic countries joining us, and I think a few of you are actually from our alumni, so you have actually been very active in some of our past years' activities. So welcome again. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we do also have a few new companies joining us today. So I wanted to have a brief recap of what Nordic Innovation House is about and what it offers. So we are a platform specifically built for Nordic companies who are interested to come into Southeast Asia. That's the reason why we're based in Singapore. So we have primarily focused on tech-driven and innovative companies from Nordic countries to come and join us. We are looking at not just the technical capabilities, but we are also looking at getting companies that are, let's say, market ready, in the sense that, you know, financially you are, let's say, funded and viable for the next 12 months and very much ready to go to market. We would love to be able to work with you and help you, you know, to be able to test your products and services in the live environment here, for instance, in Singapore or Southeast Asia. And Usually the companies are those who are scaling and growing outside of Europe to the, let's say, second or third or fifth country. So we are here to help you. Next slide. So what are some of the key pillars or verticals that we are looking at from a Singapore perspective for Nordic Innovation House? We have been focusing in the past years, as some of you know, on med and health tech, on smart cities, fintech. At the same time, we are also this year looking more and more at energy and clean tech. And this is the reason why we are very happy to work with CapitaLand on this Sustainability X challenge, smart cities, and also agri-tech and marine tech. So without further ado, I would like to hand the time back to CapitaLand to tell us more about this challenge.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the welcome address. Next, we'd like to invite Ted Howland, who is the Vice President of the Group Sustainability at CapitaLand Investment, to give a welcome address and, of course, share more about CapitaLand. Ted, please.
Thank you so much, Jackie and Nicole. On behalf of CapitaLand Chief Sustainability Officer, Lynette Byong, I would like to wish you a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022 briefing session. I'm pleased to announce that the CapitaLand Global Search for Innovative Solutions is now on. As a global real estate leader, we play an active role in shaping a climate resilient built environment. CapitaLand, we place sustainability at the core of everything we do. We are committed to growing in a responsible manner, delivering long-term economic value, and contributing to the environmental and social well-being of our communities. Next slide, please. For those that may not be so familiar with us, we are a global real estate company. Our global footprint stretches across more than 250 cities in over 30 countries. Our real estate portfolio covers all sorts of asset classes, everything from office, industrial, business park, logistics, data center, to residential, retail, lodging, and integrated developments. With such a very diverse portfolio, one of our challenges was to have a strategic blueprint that could galvanize our sustainability efforts across the entire group on a common course to maximize our impact. Next slide, please. We needed to incorporate sustainability considerations across our full spectrum of the real estate business, again, because we have so many different asset types. And we launched our 2030 Sustainability Master Plan in October 2020 to elevate our commitment to sustainability. Now, the master plan articulates our sustainability targets over the next decade, along with 5 pathways to achieve them. It's a dynamic plan that we review every 2 years, and it focuses on 3 key elements to drive our efforts in environment, social, and governance pillars. Our 3 themes are to build portfolio resilience and resource efficiency, enable thriving and future adaptive communities, and to accelerate sustainability, innovation, and collaboration. Now, CapitaLand's 2030 Sustainability Master Plan aims to build resilience in our real estate portfolio to mitigate climate change risks and future-proof against premature obsolescence. It also directs us to use our resources efficiently as a good corporate steward to improve our operational efficiencies and to reduce costs, thereby unlocking economic benefit as well. We've set very ambitious carbon emission reduction targets and are committed to navigating the complexities of our global footprint across all of our diverse markets and our multiple asset classes to do our part for climate change. We'll be transiting to a low carbon business that is aligned with climate science. In November 2020, our carbon emissions reduction targets were approved by the Science Based Targets Initiative. Next slide, please. We recognize that innovation and partnerships are necessary to accelerate our sustainability efforts and to achieve our objectives, and therefore the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge was launched last year. Next slide, please. Our inaugural challenge was very well received. We had over 270 innovative solutions submitted from more than 25 countries. We're working on piloting select innovative solutions, and once successful, we hope to scale them up across our global real estate portfolio. We're planning on doing pilots in the United States, in Singapore, in India, in China from the inaugural batch, and we hope, and we sincerely hope, to expand our global piloting footprint further with CSXC 2022. What we've done is we've provided We've provided selected innovators with access to a range of real estate asset classes globally. So not just in Singapore, all over the world, and various typologies under all the different climatic conditions to apply their solutions. This will allow them to demonstrate conclusively how their systems will function under real-world conditions. And this is one of the real keys of our challenge. It allows people to pilot their solutions in real-world assets so that they have conclusive data as to how well their system can perform, and very compelling data. In 2021, we had 2 winners plus 8 other promising innovations that took advantage of this critical differentiator to select test sites to demonstrate their innovation. Last year, we saw a very compelling set of solutions ranging from our 2 winners, InnoViews with their insulating glass retrofit technology, and Climatech with their chemical-free cooling water treatment, to our other finalists, Taichu with their innovative curtain wall, Trashbot with their artificial intelligence waste sorting, G Energy Solutions with their clean energy generator from waste heat, and finally Luminaire for indoor air disinfection systems. Later, our 2 CSXC 2021 winners, InnoViews and Climatech, will share a bit about their CSXC experience with you. Through CSXC 2022, we continue to take the lead in rallying the global community to catalyze new ideas to combat climate change. Therefore, we've increased funding for the challenge by up to 500,000 Singapore dollars for the top 10 projects to be piloted at our global network of properties. It's open for submissions now until the end of February, 28th February, and I'll take you through the details shortly. We welcome more startups to join our CSXC 2022 journey, and we look forward to collaborating with you to build a sustainable planet for our future generations. I wish you all the best and greatly look forward to receiving your submissions. Thank you, and we can move on to the next slide, please.
Hi, so we will now actually play a video of a summary highlight of last year of the challenge. So Joycelyn, yeah.
CapitaLand has placed sustainability at the core of what we do for many years. In fact, we started this journey more than 20 years ago because we believe that to be a responsible company, we want to make sure that whatever we do, we think about the positive impact on the environment and the community that we operate in.
Research and innovation leading to commercialization is a space where public and private sectors must collaborate. Initiatives such as the CapitaLand Sustainability X challenge help to uncover unique solutions that may offer the right competitive edge. It also gives innovators an opportunity to test bait and refine their ideas, which can eventually be scaled up to benefit businesses, consumers, and our environment.
Welcome to the inaugural CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge Grand Finale, coming to you live from the Raffles City Convention Center here in Singapore.
The next revolution in cooling tower water treatment technology.
I like what you say about the value proposition.
And how it transforms the facades and windows of existing buildings into energy efficient, smart and sustainable systems without removing or replacing anything at all.
What have you done to prove that it's going to be okay?
Sustainability has become at the top of the agenda of many countries and businesses. So is sustainability the new gold in real estate investments?
So for us, the risk is the other way. The risk is not acting. It is absolutely, potentially the big investment opportunity of the next years and maybe even decades.
The companies that will survive in the future have no choice but today to start to think and start to act around sustainability.
The 6 shortlisted, they have shown very viable solutions and it has made the competition quite intense. We have come up with 2 winners.
The most innovative award, Climatech Corp Private Limited, congratulations. The winner of the High Impact Award, Innoviews Inc.
We'd like to thank our guests of honor, our panel of judges, the CapitaLand Organizing Committee, and of course our mentors.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor for Innoviews to be selected as the High Impact Award winner.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for the video. Next, we would like to invite Ted again to introduce the objectives and the challenge statements for this year's edition.
Alrighty. Hopefully the audio issues have been resolved. If there's any problems, please drop it into the chat.
It's still a little bit muffled. There's like noise coming in.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. Is that any better? Is it working a little bit better now?
Yes.
Okay, we shall try that. If there's any issues, please drop it into the chat. Alrighty, so I would like to now take you through the objectives and the challenge statements. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so again, our objective is as a global platform to advance innovation and collaboration and sustainability within the built environment. Through CSXC, we aim to source for emerging solutions and technologies globally to solve our sustainability challenges and what the challenges that are impacting our business and accelerate the progress to meet our master plan targets. For CSXC 2022, we have 7 challenge statements grouped under 4 separate categories. The 4 categories are low carbon transition, waste management and circular economy, water conservation and resilience, and finally, healthy and safe buildings. Under low carbon transition, we want to know how you might help us achieve on-site clean energy solutions for our existing buildings. And again, our existing buildings stretch all through the world, from the United States to Singapore, Australia to China to Vietnam to Europe. We are everywhere. We have quite a lot of different challenges. So we look forward to seeing your solutions. We also want to know how you might help give significant reduction in energy consumption for our existing buildings. And again, these are under all sorts of climate conditions. Under waste management and circular economy, we're interested in how your solution can better segregate waste at the source for recycling or treatment. Alternatively, we're interested in seeing how you can create a viable circular economic solution that we can introduce to manage resources and waste across both our properties and construction sites, because we do have both. Under water conservation and resilience, we want to know about new ways of water management in our existing properties and how we might reduce potable water use in our existing buildings with new water harvesting technologies or recycling methods. Finally, under healthy and safe buildings, we want to know how your solution can improve the indoor air quality to enhance the wellness of our guests and users in our existing buildings. Next slide, please. For format and structure, there are 5 main components. There's campaign outreach and sourcing, which is the phase that we're in right now. After you have registered your interest and been shortlisted, then we will do a shortlisting to the top 20 to 30 applicants. These 20 to 30 will provide a presentation to our selection panel on selection day. Of those, the top 10 will be input into a mentorship program to advise and guide them in their refining their business case and refining their applicability in their proof of value, commercialization, and the clear presentation of their information. Now, this is also a very valuable set of instructions because these mentors are leaders in the industry and they will take personal time with those startups to help them refine themselves. Then ultimately, these top 10 will present on demo day to our distinguished panel of CSXC 2022 judges to stand a chance to pilot the innovations at one of our properties with up to Singapore dollar 50,000 to cover the cost of each pilot. Now, there would also be 3 special recognition awards: High Impact, Most Innovative, and Carbon Action Hero. Each of these would get an additional Singapore dollar 50,000 to cover the pilot costs. So if you're selected and get one of the awards, it would be a total of $100,000 towards the cost of your pilot. Next slide, please. For timeline, we launched our open call with a soft launch on the 9th of December. Today, we're on the 8th of February, giving a briefing session. The open call is scheduled to close at the end of February. In the middle of April, we'll have our selection day and announcement of the top 10 finalists, with mentorship between May and June, and demo day at the end of June or early July. Next slide, please. So what is this going to look like as far as you are concerned? So the first step is to register. Go to the website, scan the QR code here, and the initial registration process is about 5 minutes. After you've done this initial registration process, there'll be a quick evaluation of your details, and then the full submission form would be sent to you. Now, the key is that the full submission form will take some amount of time. It will require more in-depth details on your project, uploading of decks, and supporting documents. So I urge you to do the initial registration as soon as you can, because again, it only takes about 5 minutes, so that you will be sent the full submission form, as that will take some time. And the deadline is the end of February, 28th of February. Now, again, after we have received your submission form and done our shortlisting, the top 20 to 30 will be pitching at selection day. This will be a 5-minute pitch and a Q&A session, with the top 10 entering the mentorship program, which again will be a program with various industry experts to refine your value proposition to CapitaLand and also the broader business ecosystem. And this is important, I'll touch more on it later. Finally, the top 10 will be pitching in demo day at the end of June or early July for the chance to win up to $50,000 to cover the pilot costs. Now again, up to 10 can be selected from demo day. And additionally, there will be 3 special recognition awards: High Impact, Most Innovative, and Carbon Action Hero. Each of those would get an additional $50,000 to cover the pilot costs. Next slide, please. So what are the judging criteria? What are we looking for? We're looking for impact and value to CapitaLand Group. Again, we're a global real estate company. We have pretty much all of the real estate asset typologies. So we are looking for those solutions that will move the needle for our real estate portfolio. We're looking for innovation and creativity of your solution to meet 1 or more of the 7 challenge statements. If it meets all 7, that's amazing, but 1 is good enough. We want something that is fairly new, that is not in widespread circulation, that is starting out. You can have demos, you can have performed pilots before, but we're not looking for something that's in common circulation. Now, we're also looking for the potential to scale and deploy across different geographies and asset types. Again, we're a global real estate company headquartered in Singapore. So we have assets all throughout the world. So if there is a solution that works very well in one country or climate, that's great. If it works well in one region, even better. If it can be applied to any of our assets throughout the world, that would be the golden or the platinum standard. That would be the best and the highest interest. Now, there's 2 key factors that aren't judging criteria, but are important to factor in, which is that your solution must be at least technology readiness level 8, and you must own the intellectual property. Now, on intellectual property, we, through this challenge, are not touching your intellectual property. What's yours is yours. We're happy for you to sign other agreements during, through, after, based on the results of our CSXC challenge. We're not grabbing a hold of any of your intellectual property. It's entirely yours. However, we must deal with the person or entity that owns the intellectual property. That's our requirement. So your IP is fully safe. We just need to deal with the person or party that owns the IP. Now, throughout the process, the judges will be met with subject matter experts from CapitaLand, from Plug Play, who's running the event for us, and also other selected industry experts from our various partners. So basically, be people that know their stuff. Next slide, please. Alrighty. So for prizes and details, who gets the prizes? Up to the top 10 selected startups from demo day. So in our perfect world, there would be 10 people, there would be 10 innovations that are greenlit on demo day. What do you get? Well, you get to pilot your solution at a CapitaLand property or CapitaLand properties. Depending on the implementation, you could pilot them at more than one property at one time to show your impact, to show your versatility, to gather more data. That's perfectly fine. Each pilot would get up to 50,000, each innovator would get up to 50,000 Singapore dollars to cover the pilot's cost. So again, that's per award, not, you can't do 3 or 4 different pilots and get 50,000 for each of them, unless it's separate applications. Additionally, there'll be the special recognition awards. So you'll get the special recognition award and you'll get an additional $50,000. Again, those are for high impact, most innovative, and carbon action hero. So you can kind of craft some of your submission materials with those in mind. And very valuably, how? We will be working very closely with the selected startups to select the location, to help work out the scope, and work out the timeline of the pilot project. Because again, we have over 250, we operate in over 250 cities in over 30 countries. We don't expect you to know a lot about all of our properties. We're the ones that should know our properties. We'll be working closely with you to select the best ones for the pilot where high impact can be shown. You will need to prepare the cost proposals to carry out the pilot. Next slide, please. All right, and with this, we hope you have questions because we have quite a lot of answers, and we want to encourage you to register as quickly as possible so you can start looking at the full application or the full submission application. With this, I would like to open it up to Q&A.
Thank you so much, Ted, for spending the time to elaborate on the challenge statement and the objectives of this challenge. So companies who have joined us today, please feel free to put in your questions in the Q&A chat box while we are accumulating, getting the questions coming in. Perhaps I can throw in some questions for Ted at the moment. So one of the questions I have is, must the company that applies for this challenge have a basically incorporated in Singapore in order to participate?
No, that is not a requirement. A number of our CSXC 2021 pilots are not incorporated in Singapore. Some of them are not, and again, a number of them are not doing their pilots in Singapore. One of our winners is doing their pilot in the United States. We have other pilots being set up in China, in India, and I've suddenly blanked on where the other one is, in addition to Singapore. So we have them all throughout the world. So there's no requirement to pilot it in Singapore. There's no requirement to be incorporated in Singapore.
Okay, but when they start, example, if they get selected and they are in the finals, do they have to somewhat still have be incorporated, depending on the partner they are partnering with, right?
Again, they don't need to be incorporated in Singapore. It's perfectly fine. It's as long as Singapore can legally deal with that country. So sorry, okay. North Korea. It should be perfectly fine. Okay. Also, that actually brings up another thought to mind, which is, do people need to be physically present for the selection day or for the demo day? And the answer is no. Not only is the COVID situation still in flux in Singapore, we understand that it could be quite a burden for startups and innovators to travel to Singapore hopefully multiple times. So we have set it up to be either a hybrid or a fully online event. You can basically dial in and do it virtually. That is not a problem. That is not a disadvantage. So if there's any travel considerations, please rest assured, not an issue.
Great. That was basically my second question to you. So you have answered those. So we don't really see any questions coming in from the audience. I think that's a good sign in a way that your presentation was really clear. But maybe, Ted, is there anything that you want to highlight to these companies that are interested in this challenge?
Sure. Happy to give people a bit more of a chance to think of a question and to type it in. And again, the thing I really want to emphasize the most is please register as soon as possible, because the registration takes only about 5 minutes or so. So it's fairly straightforward. Only after you register will you be getting the full submission information. And that would be within 7 days of registration. And that will take some amount of time. So I urge you not to leave it to the last minute, not to leave it for the last couple of days, because we want to see your submissions, we want to see your technology, we want to see all of that. We would be heartbroken if we only saw a last minute registration and an incomplete submission. We don't want that. The second thing I really want to emphasize is a few of the differentiators between the CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge and a number of the other innovation challenges. Because we have seen that there are a lot of innovation challenges out there. So why should you be choosing us? Well, there's a few reasons that I think why I think you should choose us. And those include, number one, we're not taking any of your IP. Your IP remains yours. There's other challenges, especially with venture capitalists. They want your IP as part of the price of admission. That doesn't happen with us. The second is you get to pilot in a CapitaLand property. It's not an award that is given to you and then you have to go find your own pilot. No, it will be at a CapitaLand property and we'll be working with you to select the property and working through the pilot with you. That has been one of the bonus points for our current crop of winners and piloting companies, helping them approach the pilots in a very structured way so that at the end of the day, they have conclusive information that convinces us and that we can use to convince our stakeholders and anybody else that asks that yes, this works as advertised, hopefully better than advertised, but that it works as advertised in a real property. So again, some of the other challenges, we'll give a prize and then kind of walk away, leaving you to figure out the pilot on your own. No, we're staying with you. There's also a fair amount of publicity associated with those that are selected, as our CSXC 2021 winners will be sharing shortly. So we have quite a lot of publicity arranged alongside with the challenge, and we'd be taking those that are selected along with us. We have slots at Temasek's Ecosperity. We have quite a lot of other engagements and releases. And I see a hand up from somebody. Yes, Nicole.
Hi, Ted. Don't mind if I ask a question. I think quite often the companies, maybe they have the question, but they haven't, put the question up yet. So you talked about the let's say, possible price that could be used for the pilots. Are there any conditions of how the money could be used for the pilot?
Excellent question. So again, it's not a direct cash grant for anything you want. It's to cover the cost of the pilot. And our internal guideline is that no more than that manpower costs should not exceed 20% of the pilot budget. So if your pilot's $50,000, manpower shouldn't go more than $10,000. If your pilot costs quite a bit less, then it would proportionally go down. Also, we don't cover travel or business development costs. So if you wanted to make a really shiny marketing deck, well, you'd be making that during the mentorship program, which would be working with you on that. But you wouldn't be able to go hire a slick advertising agency with the funds. Also, we're looking for technology readiness level 8. So we expect a fair amount of the development has already been done. So we wouldn't be putting in costs for pure business development. And of course, sadly, we wouldn't be paying to fly you to Singapore or all over the world to talk about the innovation. We've got online systems for that. Yes, Nicole, do you have more questions?
Yeah, maybe if I could just sort of still on the same question.
Yes.
So, but the prize money for the pilot could be used on, let's say, hardware and software and so on for the solution to be, showcased within the pilot.
Yes, of course. So if hardware needs to be purchased, materials need to be purchased, then yes, the award would cover that. So for example, InnoViews, who we'll hear about a bit more later, they have a window glazing affixing solution. So for the order of materials, which include windows, include aluminum and other materials, all of that is covered within the award. If monitoring equipment is necessary, meters, logging devices, all of that also would be covered. Again, up to the total amount, $50,000 for someone selected at demo day, or $100,000 if you're selected and get one of the 3 awards: High Impact, Carbon Action Hero, or Most Innovative.
Okay. Any more questions from the audience at the moment? All right. Perhaps we can move along first. If you have more questions, the chat is still open. You can put it in and we'll see whether there are more. We can address those at the end. From now, we would like to actually, to further inspire you to participate in this challenge through a short fireside chat video, which consists of the winners of last year. We have InnoViews and also Climate Tech Corp to share their journey in the challenge and also share some of the tips they could when they were applying for this challenge, basically. So Joycelyn, could you play the video?
And while the video is spooling up, one last point is that if you have questions later, so suddenly you have a very important question, then there is contact information on the website and in the application for where you can send your question. So again, we urge you to register as quickly as possible so you can see the full submission. So that may tease out some more questions for you and give us adequate time to answer your questions so that you can make a successful submission. And now my colleague will share the video.
So my name is Anas Alcasas. I'm the founder and CEO of InnoViews and the inventor of the technology. I'm an architect and a facade systems engineer by background and practice, and I started InnoViews. We provide the only technology that enables existing building facades to be retrofitted with the latest energy saving and smart glass innovations without removal, replacement, or disruption. So through our non-invasive insulating glass retrofits, we offer building owners a high ROI, low carbon window upgrade solution that reduces energy consumption by up to 40%, improves occupants' thermal and acoustic comfort, and increases the value and sustainability of the existing buildings.
I'm Joe Heng, founder and managing director of CapitaLand Corp. We're a startup company formed by 4 individuals with very different backgrounds, but all sharing a common goal, which in our various ways and means to do our part in tackling climate change. You can fathom by the name that was chosen. And the solution that we presented is called the Climate Control Quantum Resonance Water, QRW in short, which is a chemical-free water treatment solution for cooling towers that requires no power to operate. It saves water and energy that is what we think is superior to what is available in the existing market.
It's really securing early adopters. In the commercial real estate industry, it's a risk-averse industry, so no one wants to be the first one to try a new technology. So especially when the technology or the solution is a hardware or hard tech, it's not like a software application. So penetrating the market to commercialize the technology and raising funding to do so is really one of our biggest challenges at the beginning.
Yeah, as a startup, I think with no track record in the beginning, it took a lot of effort and hard work and determination. And looking back, perhaps we could say that we made our luck vis-a-vis the amount of effort we put in developing our capabilities, the expertise, and building up the trust in our relationships with clients. So we were fortunate that we had some experience in the water treatment using the solid chemistry, but for the adoption, I think the clients that we already had, based on their trust in us, they went ahead and they gave us the track record and the portfolio that we have, which is expanding currently.
CapitaLand is one of the largest real estate owners and developers in Asia, and have a strong commitment to innovation and sustainability was really appealing to us, because we knew that our solution resonate with them and would be a good fit to make an impact across their portfolio with properties not only in Asia, even here in the US as well. So that was really appealing to us.
CapitaLand itself, and me being Singaporean, we know what CapitaLand is all about. They're also one of the pioneers in sustainability back in 2000. Industry leaders with BCA Green Mark Platinum Champion Award in 2020. And of course, the latest 2030 Sustainability Master Plan. So, and with Climatech as a company focused on these very similar value drivers, we hope that we could play our part in this CapitaLand strategic blueprint.
It was learning more about the commercial real estate market in Asia in general and Singapore in particular, and understanding how beneficial our solution could be to buildings that are in completely different climate zones and have completely different construction and vintage. So that was eye-opening. That was interesting to see, and we ended up running several energy models on buildings in different locations and in Singapore as well to really understand how our solution would perform there. So that was also an interesting part of the journey.
Well, it definitely wasn't a fill up the form, submit a presentation and wait for the competition finale. I mean, from the moment that you were shortlisted, a lot more effort and work had to be put in to prepare the perfect pitch. We learned many new skills and attributes during this entire mentoring and coaching period, which will serve us well moving forward.
It started with trying to identify the right location that would be feasible for a conclusive pilot, where you can really measure the impact of the solution and be able to determine how successful this solution would be for other properties or for other buildings in different locations. So that was a big challenge at the beginning. And I can say really right now it's after 6 months, I mean, we've been working on that, and after that we had to run some energy models on the buildings that we selected and run scenarios with our system to identify the perfect option. So right now, you know, I'm happy to say that, you know, we finalized the agreements with all parties and started collecting data for measurement and verification, and the results will be published at the end by a reputable third party. So this project and the final report is going to be really helpful for us, because it will provide a real-world validation of our technology on a larger scale. So we're super excited about it.
From the competition till right now, I think we're really impressed with the CapitaLand team on their level of participation, and of course they're always there to help you, guide you, and that's really good. I mean, you can meet clients that, you know, have a different mindset, but the team has been really open and very helpful in all meeting what we require.
I believe that having good communication skills and understanding exactly what the participants want to get out of the program, and then being laser focused on achieving that goal is really, I think, would be some of the top, you know, qualities or skills that would help participants succeed or win at the end.
You have to have innovation. I think what we saw really, like I said, was an eye-opener. There are things that you wouldn't imagine without this competition. I've seen a lot of new innovation technology. Adaptability, meaning you need to customize your solution. You have something great, but how do you sell it? We learned a lot doing that. And of course, finally, the drive to make it happen, because it's not simple and straightforward. You have to put in the minutes and the hours. Oh, I think the one thing that you should avoid is demonstrating that your solution is the one and only and the best, and that you'd be a fool not to take it, because I think there's no one right way to do to solve a problem. So you need to be humble. You need to, like I said, adaptable. You need to take in comments, remarks, feedback, advice, and turn it into a positive spin.
And at the same time, at the end, mastering the pitch is really important. How can you distill technical solutions and technologies to a few words and present it in a very simple and concise way, in an interesting, sort of like a storyteller type presenter. So that's very, I believe, is very important, because if people don't understand your solution real quick, they'll lose interest and they might not really listen to you, as you go through your presentation.
Okay, great. I hope you guys enjoyed the video shared by the winners of last year. So next, we'll be coming to the end of the briefing. So if you have any questions about the challenge after this session, you can still connect with the team from CapitaLand or Plug and Play. So we have Ted, we have Lynn, we have Patricia and John as well. And then also, of course, our team, Nicole and I, we are more than happy to take on further questions about the challenge and of course assist you in your application as well. So before we go into the final slide, we actually have one more poll question for everyone. So let me launch it. Okay, so the question is to our attendees, are you ready to participate in the CapitaLand Sustainability X challenge? So let us know so we can gauge how confident you are now to apply. Okay, we see someone that is very ready, one that needs rather more information, which we probably can provide. Not a problem. Okay, so there's about 2 people who need more information. Okay, 5 more seconds and I will end the poll. Okay, this is a good sign. At least, we don't have a not ready moment for the ones that have joined us today. Okay, so I'll just quickly share the results so you guys can take a look. So our last slide here is basically to encourage you to register and submit for the challenge today. So like Ted mentioned a couple of times, is to really register for your interest and submit the form. And then they will further on give you, if you meet the criteria basically, and give you the access to submitting a full proposal. So the deadline, which is the most important thing to note, is on the 28th of February, which is end of this month. So make sure you do submit the full proposal by 2359 hours Singapore time. And again, if you have more questions, feel free to email any one of us, and we're more than happy to answer your questions. So CapitaLand, Ted, do you have any last words?
I just want to say thank you very much to Jackie and Nicole for arranging this session. Thank you for thank you to the innovators that have dialed in. We hope this was of interest and of value to you. We really look forward to seeing your submissions. And for those that need some more information, please go to the website. There's a lot of information there. Start the registration process, because then you can fine-tune your questions through the email at the bottom, and we will get back to you to address any of the questions. So again, thank you for your time this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you participate in our CapitaLand Sustainability X Challenge 2022.
Thank you so much, Ted, and the rest of CapitaLand team, and of course, Plug Play APAC, for also giving us the opportunity to be part of this challenge again. And for attendees that have joined us today, not to worry, we'll also send a recording of this session, and you'll receive the slides as well with the information. So we wish you all the best, and we look forward to your application.